Hi everyone and welcome again to another lens review. This time we are going to take a look at the Sigma 170 to 500mm APO lens for the Canon EF Mount. This lens is actually not produced anymore, but you can pick them up used quite cheap. I paid for mine about 200 euros, which is not very expensive if you consider the huge focal length of this lens. And you have an aperture of f5 to 6.3, which is not very bright, so you probably need a lot of light with this lens. And you don't have image stabilization, which is also a reason why this lens is not that expensive. I'm going to mount it behind the Sony A7Rii via an EF to Sony E mount adapter. And so we can see how it will look like with the steady shot, because the Sony A7 has built-in stabilization where the sensor is fixing the stabilization, and we will see if this will help a little bit with this lens here. And of course we are also going to take a look at the overall image quality, which is very important for such a lens. Well, handhold shooting with this lens can be quite a little bit frustrating, since when you're going to zoom in, it's getting quickly very shaky and you have to keep your hands steady pretty well, as you can see here. But it's not impossible, but it's not that easy, and especially if you want to hit the right focal plane, it can be quite complicated task. It's working much easier if you're going to put this on a tripod. When I attached the lens for the first time to the camera, I was really impressed how heavy it actually is. So it weighs quite a lot, and if you're going to travel with it, you will need a bigger case or something you can put it in. Also, the lens hood is very large. I mean, when you look at this, it's a very large lens hood here. Just comparing this here to the lens itself, I usually don't like to use them all the time, because they make the lens even longer, and if you're traveling, this can be quite frustrating at this point. So after I took a few images, the first thing I noticed, because my Comlight adapter didn't support any autofocus with this lens at all. The autofocus in general with EF lenses is not good, but for this it wasn't working at all. This wasn't such a big deal, since we have focus peaking and magnification and so on. But what I noticed is that the focus ring of this lens has not a very large traveling distance. So this means when you're going to do some critical focusing, you will find yourself easily hit and miss with the focus. But when the focus actually hits, the image quality I got from this lens was actually pretty impressive, and we're going to take a look at some sample images now. So what I noticed when doing some of the shots, when wide open the lens was not perfectly sharp. You could easily see that it has some softness. However, stopping it down to like f10 or f11, it was getting pretty sharp, especially in the center, and this was really amazing for such a bargain lens, you could say, at least for this focal length here. This was very impressive. Of course, f10, f11 means a lot of light, but remember, you don't have a real image stabilization inside the lens, so you probably want to shoot at fast shutter speeds anyway with this lens. I use this lens to shoot some birds and so on, as you may have also seen in the footage so far, and it does the job quite well. I mean, you don't have to expect more than $1,000 equivalent lens performance here. This is for sure not the case, but I also found it pretty nice, and combined with the A7Rii and with the steady shot. The steady shot, since it's an electronic adapter I'm using, the steady shot will detect the current focal length, and actually if you are shooting at a little bit shorter focal length, like 200 or 300 millimeters, the steady shot was actually quite helping a little. It wasn't as effective as I'm used to the inside the lens steady shots, but it was quite nice, and it was a nice addition to this lens, so made it also handheld possible to do some shots. But all in all, especially because of the weight, keeping it in the hand the whole time is a little bit confusing, so I prefer to use a tripod when possible. Or yeah, one leg tripod you can put the lens down on. Sometimes you find something in the woods or so where you can lay the lens down to, which helps a lot and getting quite nice shots. Yeah, so overall conclusion, pretty nice lens, especially if you consider the price tag. It's worth to give it a try if you are into like this bird photography or something. You can get some quite interesting and nice results, of course, as mentioned earlier. Probably not the same results that you would get with a $1,000 or $2,000 lens here, but pretty nice results. Yeah, thanks for watching and hope to see you soon. Bye.